Hello. Excuse me, like both your audio and video are very much distorted. We are not able to hear anything.
Is it fine now?
No.
1 second. Is it, am I audible? Hello? Hello?
Video is much better, but can you fix audio? I think probably you can switch on your video so that the bandwidth will not be used up in video. At least we can hear your voice properly then.
Yeah. Is it audible now?
It's better. It's better. I think there is a bandwidth problem, I guess. So
Yeah.
without the video, it's better. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will just continue with the story. So I was having this doubt in my mind as in how will these children even be able to connect with these films because they won't even understand the language. That is when my teacher told me that you don't bother about the language. Everyone has this habit of perceiving things from the way they perceive it. So on that particular day, we were actually screening a film, and that film was in Arabic language, and it was taken somewhere in 1980s. So all these children sitting around me, they were actually extremely excited. It was completely new to them. Someone coming to their village and projecting a film, and it's a foreign film. They found it extremely exciting. So they would all group up together and they will come to watch the film. That day I was just wondering, this film is in Arabic. Even I am not able, personally, I wasn't able to understand the film properly. So the film was going in the middle. What happened is there was this small 8-year-old child. 8-year-old child, he started patting on my back and he started asking me in Tamil. I would just say this in Tamil. அண்ணா அண்ணா அந்த படத்துல காமிக்கிற ஊர் என்ன ஊர்னா அது it was actually the film was taken in 1980s. அது என்ன ஊர்னா இவ்வளோ கார் இருக்கு, பில்டிங்ஸ் எல்லாம் இவ்வளோ பெருசா இருக்கு, எங்கேயுமே அந்த மாதிரி நம்ம ஊர்ல அந்த மாதிரி இல்லவே இல்லை, எல்லாரும் படம் தான் இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு I told him that the film was actually shot in Dubai. I just told him because it was somewhere in Saudi Arabia. I thought Dubai would be an easier thing for me, to connect with. I told him it's Dubai. So what happened? I just heard him talking to another girl sitting by his side. She was somewhere around 5 years or something like that. He was actually telling that girl, Kirtana, cost of பிரமாண்டமா இருக்கு, நம்ம நல்லா படிச்சு அந்த ஊருக்கு நம்ம போய் சுத்தி பார்க்கணும், அந்த ஊர்ல நம்ம போய் சுத்தி பார்க்கணும், நல்லா இருக்குல்ல அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு they were actually communicating within themselves. That is when I actually perceived that what my teacher actually told me is, don't bother about the language. Everyone will learn something from everything. It is not that we all have to learn the same things. I felt that I should share this experience with you. So I just open the floor for the audience. Please raise your hands. Please right. Anyone? Hello? I think I have tried all the possibilities of correcting my audio. Am I still not audible? Okay. I will just share my experience on what I felt interesting on reading the book. We have always come across this phrase that learning should be fun. But whenever I have come across that phrase, I did personally, I wasn't able to visualize it as in how learning would be fun. Something like this, very mechanical, every day we have homeworks which we didn't like. So I wasn't able to visualize. But after reading this book, it was more like a personal experience for me. I felt as if I should be born in that era, as the author himself having so what do you all feel? You must all be connecting yourself after reading the book. What did you all feel?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was reading the story, some of my school memories just flashed in my. Like I just remember the things like my teacher taught me about how to dissect a hibiscus rather than studying detail in the textbook. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, you're audible. You're audible.
Yes. Yes, yes. And also, I remember things, my history teacher used to enact as a etcher. So I would say, like, if you ask me the most memorable things I remember till now, there's the things which I have done practically in my school days. So I wonder, like, when I was studying this story, I just wonder if all the students are going to, maybe all the subjects they're going to study are going to be practical. Just imagine the knowledge they're going to gain from this. So I think maybe in future we should try to bring such kind of like curriculum in our school and all these things. Like, yeah, that's it. Hello.
That's very nice.
Yeah. So when I was like, when I went to this cuckoo school also, I could able to relate it. I thought like, okay, maybe in future cuckoo is going to be a school as such. So I'm like waiting for it.
That's very nice experience. Yeah, it would be a dream to bring such curriculum, past figures, and if that happens, even I think all of us back days and studies, we'll be having lots of share. Uh,
Uh,
anyone, please?
hello, hello, Anna, you're not audible. Like,
Am I audible now?
yes, yes.
So whatever I spoke before, was it audible?
Not much. It was not.
Okay. Yeah. So whatever you spoke,
There's a disturbance from your microphone.
is it fine now?
Yeah, absolutely. It's super good now.
Okay, I'm so sorry for the I don't know what's the problem. Sorry, extremely sorry. Yeah, Shakti, your thoughts were very nice. As in, it would be a dream to go back to, if our curriculum, the schooling curriculum changes completely to what we have now. I think all of us would wish to go back to our school days, so that we'll be having lots of stories to share. Just by reading a book, I think we have come up with stories, but had we experienced such things, it would be great, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, anyone would like to add up on that?
Hi. Hi, this is Manu Mohan. When I was reading this, I was totally able to relate and visualize myself with the experiences of Cuckoo Forest School and Sadhana Forest, because the way I grown up was in an corrupted modeling school, which we right now call the conventional way. So it was totally different from what it is, and I was able to understand much more about the unschooling way, learning along with the nature, and I enjoyed reading it, and I wish that at least my next generation of kids will be able to learn through this magical way of school.
That's wonderful, Manu, that you've been to Cuckoo Forest School. Even I also feel that, because when I went to Cuckoo School, it was an amazing experience. First of all, all the network connection, mobile network connection, we don't get network connections there properly. So I felt completely with myself. And the school itself, the location of the school, it was amazing. The experience, the everything was just amazing. Of course, I wish we had more schools like that.
And especially the Zen master, I don't remember his name, the dog which was there, and he captured and the story behind him, and everything was wonderful out there. So you're reminiscing my memories of visiting Cuckoo. Thank you so much.
Yeah, please do visit Kuku whenever you feel like visiting. It's a wonderful place to be and learn. Uh, and I had another thing what I felt very interesting about the book was that the versatility in learning. That as in each and everything that was taught in the school, I mean what we read in the book, what was taught in the school was very much relatable to the practical living as in day to day life. But what we learn now in our school, um, sometimes I just feel that 14 years of one's life, we get to learn too much of things, but at the end we don't understand why we actually learned it. It's like basic life skills, as everyone says. So the illustration of the book itself was very amazing. It was so exciting. More the write-ups on one hand, whereas the illustrations, it itself had so many stories. It was like going into the school itself, so it was amazing. Yeah. Anyone?
Yes. So I believe that what we are today is what our schools made us. Like the ethics, the values which we carry out through our adulting is what we gain from a very young age. So focusing on to good habits and good people and a school which exposes us to nature and whatnot, all the practicality is really very important in such a young age. Even we sometimes don't even remember what we studied in school. Like it's what we focus on studies mainly after intermediate or an engineering or whatever we choose. That's the next part. But the only things we take from school is what is called as manners. Like I feel that like manners first.
Yeah, I get the point what you're actually trying to say. As a child is born, after the child is actually sent to the school, that is where he actually gets to learn each and everything. So yeah, it is the school from which we. Sorry, Akshata, you want please stop. Hello, Akshata. Why you say so? Okay. Yeah, so the school is where we actually strengthen our roots. That is where we get to meet people. We get to learn what this world, we get exposed to world. So it was completely a different world, looking at a different world and getting to know that such school existed. I didn't know about it until I read the book that such school exists. So it was a new experience for me. So that itself was very exciting factor about the book for myself. Uh, on seeing the first illustration where they got to learn about wildlife, on seeing the illustration where all the children were sitting on the branches of the tree and the teacher was standing and teaching to them, wow, what an experience to even learn sitting on the branches. How would it be if we were in that place? So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Janani.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share some my thoughts. So I think we all have spoken about how we all agree on what a beautiful school this magic school was, which we have read. But one thing that struck me was the ending line. Where is this magic school now? I want to send my son. Where is this magic school now? So I just thought I could open a dialogue with my thoughts on like why this, even though we all seem to agree on it, everyone who reads it agrees that this holistic practical learning is very important for life and not the exam based learning. But still it happens that schools such as this are alternative schools and they're very few in number. And if I look at it pragmatically, I don't know where in a city would I find such a school. So what can be the reason that even though everyone feels that this is the right way of learning, there is so less demand, or there is so less of these schools that are there. So when I thought of it, maybe I thought it is like us. Even though we are all collectively agreeing, when it comes individually, we get lost in that rat race. We want to put even our child in a competitive school. So somehow that gets lost in the practicality. I don't know why. So I just want to open the dialogue to anyone who has their thoughts. Why such schools are not there and what we can do about it? How as a society we can collectively change that value system that we don't want the rat race for our kids. We want something else. We want more holistic learning. So yeah.
It's a very interesting point. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, I think it's a very important point, and I think we need to discuss this. Why aren't there any schools like this? I think the reason for this is that it's because of society, it's because of people like you and me who don't value such a school. The moment we start valuing such a school, it will come. So the theme of the school, if you look at it, is problem-based learning. That's the problem. You have to build a tank. Now think about it. How many bricks do you need? Okay, calculate on the basis of the volume. So interesting. So that's the way to think in life also. If one is trained to think in a problem-solving way, rather than just accumulating knowledge. Yesterday I was part of a webinar where there were doctors and they had just memorized information on that theme and they just came out and vomited that whole thing out. There was just nothing coming from an experiential base. So this, you see this everywhere. That's it. That's what I want to say.
Vinod here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Please.
I think it is like not because mostly it is the social pressure. I think it is the individual's fear what is stopping from joining in such a school. Even though we know this is having an value, like this is good for the kid, but I think the fear which we have grown up, what our education system has seeded in our mind, like about the career, about the settlement of life, about money. So that fear which we have grown up, I think that is still not away from us. So that is the same fear which is stopping us to join in such a school for our kids. I think until we are not coming out of that fear, I think that is not possible. So moreover, the society, I think it is the personal fear and the family's fear about the kid future. So without removing that fear from our mind, I think that will be very difficult to show a good path for the kids.
After listening to this, I just have a question in my mind which I would like to ask. As in, it was mentioned in the book itself, when this sort of schooling was supposed to happen in Madras state, it didn't happen because people of Madras objected it, saying that it had lots of manual labor and Rajaji had to resign from his post. So my thinking was that so this school, what we read in the storybook, was actually set in some 1950s or 1960s, and all of us have something in our mind about life. As in, so should it be like? Should the curriculum also modernize as the people also modernize? As in, depending upon the needs of the present society, as in the needs will be changing from through the ages. So should this school also change itself? So if it had changed, would it be retained? Would all of us accept it instead of agriculture? Agriculture can be there, but something what people of today would aspire to become, if that is also included in the curriculum and it is taught in a more practical manner as it was taught before. If it was retained, would we all go and join it? That's my question.
No, but even after reading that particular sentence about the Rajaji and other things, even I did some surfing in the net to know like why it is been banned or why it was not established. I think the school which we read in the book and the school which were the system which they were trying to establish in Tamil Nadu, I think both had some difference. In the school, it is like in the school itself, you have the system of learning all these things. So every kid gets an opportunity to read it, to get these habits and to expose to all these stuffs. But the school which Rajaji was trying to impose was different. It was like two different shifts were there. So for the first shift, the students will come to the school. The proposal was like the morning shift, the students will come to the school and they will learn regular system of education, everything. And in the second shift, they will go back to their houses. So in their house, whatever their parents occupation was there. If the parent is if a farmer, then he will be learning farming. If he is like a cobbler, then he should learn about the other stuffs and carpenting. So it is more like an family oriented education that they were trying to impose. So that is why I think it was opposed in Tamil Nadu, saying that then this will retain the caste system and only the like carpenter's son will become a carpenter or cobbler's son will become a cobbler. And a farmer's son will become only farmer and he will not be able to establish other things. I think that was the major drawback in the system which they were trying to impose in Tamil Nadu. I think that's why it was a failure.
Okay, that's actually a very nice insight to this whole chapter. Actually, very nice. Thanks for sharing. Maya Sheshagiri, would you like to share? Are you just a second? Would you like to share something?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. So I did happen to visit Anand Niketan, the current Nayee Taleem school in Wardha in January. In fact, there were talks of maybe joining the school in July, but I don't think that's happening now. Anyways, that's aside. But I think Nayee Taleem school was we have to see it as a kind of an arm of the society. So when the society changed so much, the Nayee Taleem school couldn't function. And when the kind of village industries that Gandhiji promoted was, it did not go the way it did because we took the Nehruvian path of development. So it would have been difficult for Nayee Taleem schools to have functioned for sure, no? Because so at the systemic level, when things are changing so much, and the school is always a part of the society. So the school is many times a reflection of the society because, right? And therefore, when at the systemic level, when things change so much, so the schools don't have that kind of so they also don't have the kind of patronage they had earlier because the system has changed a lot. So, but looks like, especially right now, when we are talking of climate change and when we are experiencing climate change, looking back, looks like if we had stuck to schools like Nayee Taleem, we wouldn't be in a kind of mess that we are right now.
Yeah, after you talking, I was just wondering of something, as in, I was just imagining, as in, just Nayee Taleem schools existed, throughout all these years, and our parents studied there, all our parents just Nayee Taleem school, then how would our country be now? As in, the country would have been completely different because, as we spoke earlier, school is something that shapes the person, it strengthens the root. So how would our country be? I was just imagining about it. It will be. I was just thinking. My perception is it would be completely unique. The schooling system. Everyone would be looking into this sort of schooling system because we have our own particular schooling system. it would be very interesting, isn't it? As in how the country would have grown or developed based on how the people were educated right from the beginning, the roots. If it had been different and not the manner how it is, how it was. Just a thought.
I'd like to say something. I think we are taking things too literally. Just because we plant things or do a little in agriculture or build something with our own hands does not mean that we are on the right path. I think the thing to understand is the theme of it. The real theme of it is how to use your mind to solve problems. So if we can do anywhere. I mean, if we are in a country jungle, you hear of so many youngsters solving problems. I was just looking at it right now online. Children from in the Indian system, building satellites. For example, the world's smallest satellite. I was just looking at some boy, 18-year-old boy, has built the world's smallest satellite and recognized by NASA. So it's not that our children can't invent, can't solve problems. It's not that. It isn't that. It isn't that we can't do this. We don't need. I don't think we need to be in a forest to develop a thinking mind. It isn't necessary. What is really necessary is how do we train our children to think for themselves, not just follow whatever or just mug and reproduce, but to solve problems which they can. If we can give them problems which our city life has, that would be ideal.
Yeah. Anyone else would like to, put on ideas on that? More share your comments on that. Anyone else?
Thing I want to add to the current discussion is that actually we were discussing about how society has changed and that's how the school became sort of irrelevant. But again, the time has come for these kind of schools to become really relevant because we see such a trend in homeschooling where parents are actually against the current schooling, the method of schooling, that many parents are resorting to homeschooling. And it's again picking up. So the more and more we start valuing this, I think definitely alternate schools will become mainstream. And maybe that is necessary. Like, of course, we can help our children by giving them a problem solving attitude at home. But if the whole society itself changes as a whole, like it will be a faster process rather than one or two here picking up those things by by their environment, by virtue of their environment. That's what I think.
So maybe as the sorry. Anyone?
I said I agree. That's a good point.
So maybe as the society changes, maybe the schooling system, if it also changes, as in making robots instead of as you say, it doesn't have to be in a forest to open up your mind. It can be so depending upon the likes of the society or demands of the society, maybe the curriculum can be framed like that, so that more amount of people would select that curriculum, something like that. Do you think is it possible? Saga, would you like to share something? Saga?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Please share.
Sure. Yeah. I always we had we had to design a school in our one of our previous semesters. I study architecture, so it was very important to look at alternative sources of learning. And by the end, I realized that learning was a very it had to be a very personal process for you to really learn, believe in it, and do something and get out of it. And given how learning has been transformed into textbooks in schools, where you don't really see what you're learning, where the matter of experiential learning comes into the picture. Yes. So I think there are also many other aspects, and it's just not about one problem or two problems that you're facing. There are myriad of things like uh, you need a good environment. You need people who are willing to listen. You need people who do. You need to put yourself around people who learn constantly and don't mind answering your questions. Um, you really need to you need to, so yeah, there's just so many things that come into my mind, and but yeah, I believe that it is possible at any time to like uh, bring about that change. It's only when you will really understand what are your priorities, and competition and earning a lot of money is not uh, do not come under that criteria. Being the best is not the question. It's just about how much you can give back, and how much you're having fun because you're learning something new every day. So yeah, I guess that's about it.
Thank you, Sagar. At the end of the day, it is learning which is supposed to be fun. That is when we remember what we learned. Otherwise, everything goes, we don't remember it. That's actually true. There's actually this system in Italy, which is called as Regia Emilia. So in this system, the community itself decides the curriculum, and only very few schools in India adopt this sort of curriculum. So I just thought of sharing this. Sangvi ma'am, would you like to share something? Would you like to? Yeah, please.
Yeah, yes. I think nowadays people, the students of this generation, all of them lack a lot of emotional intelligence or emotional quotient. In fact, I would say that way, because they lack independency because they're not given opportunity to self learn and do things like that. So they are always dependent on somebody else. Because of that, they become emotionally weak, and that eventually contributes to their approaching problems and facing situations. All of that is getting affected because of all of this. So this the kind of education which has been portrayed in the book will definitely contribute a lot in increasing the independency and the emotional quotient of the students. So this it's high time that actually people think about all of this and try and bring in criteria into the curriculum or the syllabus right now. That is what is my say on this. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Adire, would you like to share something? 1 second. Adire?
Yes.
Hello? Yeah, it's audible.
Okay, it was a nice piece of article based on experience and how I could relate it today, or my reflection on it. I think the entire the learning to cook, learning for the farming and the wildlife, protection of the wildlife, and cultivating the volume.
Adire, sorry for interruption. Could you? Your voice is very feeble. Could you please make it more loud if possible?
Could you hear me now?
Yeah. Now it's correct. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Yeah. So, reading the article, it's based on the experience. It's a wonderful piece that you could compare to the present day. What I'm seeing now, so the accessibility to the children. இப்போ ஒரு திண்ணை பள்ளியில் இருக்கிறதோ இல்லை ஒரு தாய் வழியில் கல்வி கற்கிறதோ இல்லை different boards of examinations, and the system is so complicated. If you think the base or
the root of all these things, you find it economical, social barriers, and the accessibility to the opportunities, everything that involves. I think Cuckoo or the kind of events that happens in Alcott Kuppam, all these things. So I think education is beyond the four walls. Within the four wall, what you learn and what children should know, they should earn that ability, like how Sangavi ma'am pointed out. The emotionally how they are managing themselves. Even now we can see because of the marks, young children, school kids committing suicide because of this online class transition. They are not able to afford it from the family, so they are committing suicide and the left out from the mainstream education. So that is what I'm more concerned about. That is what I've been thinking about it. And I think it like economy, education also should be treated decentralized. In a way, you need to address the regional issues every 2 kilometers and 3 kilometers different in India like countries. So we need to address more in terms of regional based decentralized educations. Only that can help and bring out the qualities in the young minds, the confident and facing the issues and problems, emotionally stable, the virtues which they learn. So that's what I'm thinking.
Thank you so much, Adire. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. We have last 5 minutes, maybe. If anyone else would like to share something, please come forward.
When we are talking about this system and other things, like what I it was going through my mind is like my personal experience. I will tell you, like when I joined my kid in nursery school, okay, the system what they followed, and when whatever conversations we had with the teachers there or the principal, like as somebody told, we found like there is no emotional intelligence or emotional attachment to the students. Okay, that is when I started searching for some alternate schools, and I end up in finding this Cuckoo page. So through Cuckoo page only, I found this Akarma Foundation and other things, and I'm joined these conversations and all those things. And when we talk about this alternate system, I don't know how many teachers are ready for this alternate system of teaching and how prepared they are. It is not only about the system implementation. I think the mindset, the change should come in the society with the parents and teachers, everyone. Like I hardly see, like I'm not blaming like anyone, but wherever, like whenever I converse with somebody, my sister's school or somewhere, like I found the teachers are actually so much deviated from the system itself. Like apart from their curriculum, like they are not reading anything outside the curriculum, or they don't see any different movies, or they don't have much exposure about the things which are happening around the world. And they don't have actually this emotion. They are also like IT companies and other things. They also have some targets and other things, and they wanted more to achieve the targets and not concentrating on the kids. So when we talk about a system which is going to change, I don't know, like change should come mostly in the teachers' mindset. I think when the teachers are ready for the change, I think even the system will work.
Thank you so much. We are coming to the end of this session. I would like to end this session by sharing a small quote by Rabindranath Tagore. He quotes that the highest education is that which does not merely gives us information, but makes our life in harmony with all existence. So it was a pleasure talking to you all today. I was able to learn a lot, and all of us were able to share a lot of experiences. Hoping to see you all tomorrow, and please do write about these webinars on your social media, and do tag us. We would also like to see it. Thank you so much. Looking forward to see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks a lot.